sports fans, ASMR Sports, back into your business. I had a hankering the other day. Well, first of all, let me apologize for, it's been a long time since I've done a video, and actually I have like 3 or 4 videos that are, recorded and kind of ready to go. But they're all Pokemon videos, and I wanted to be careful that I was not inundating the channel with Pokemon content, because I know not everybody is as excited about Pokemon as I am. But I am pretty excited about Pokemon. I can't quite explain why. I think I just like, the idea of something new. Pokemon is new to me, so I've been trying to learn about it. And, also I will say, a man gets tired of going to, Target and Walmart looking for sports cards and having the same thing happen every time, which is basically that, there's nothing there to buy that's of interest. Or it's just a little too difficult to find the good things that you want. And, with Pokemon, I feel like it's maybe a little bit easier to find, some cool stuff. And, it's just another thing to look for in basically the same places you go for sports cards, so it's kind of fun. But I did want to do a sports card video, and I can't remember why, but suddenly I really wanted to open some 87, like traded, extended stuff. So, I thought originally of 87 Fleer Update, which we have here. I bought these sets along with many other small sets quite a time ago. And yeah, there's a video on that, either from a local antique mall. And my plan was to open up all these things on videos, but I never really got around to it, so I thought, you know what, let me do that now. So anyways, yeah, I thought of 87 Fleer. I was thinking of going through an 87 Fleer set, update set, and then I, thought, I have the Topps one too, and as I sit before you, I think I'm actually more excited about the Topps one because I once saw a 1987 Topps traded set, and what year that was? Actually, it wasn't 87, it was probably like 89 or something like that, 88. I remember it wasn't quite new, but my friend got one of these. And like everything back then, it was way more interesting then than it is now, but I sort of remember, how cool it was to see the cards in that set back then, and I haven't seen those cards really since then, so fun to be here, 30 some odd years later. Reliving the dream. Now, 87 update sets are pretty valueless, and this set I think was opened previously and probably looked through. So who knows what may be awaiting us. But there is one Hall of Fame rookie in both of these sets, and that would be Greg Maddux. See, there you go. So the traded sets were on a lighter colored, whiter cardstock as compared to regular 87 Topps. So these are going to be in order, it looks like, because the checklist was first. And then we've got number 1 here. So these are kind of Tiffany looking, because Tiffany cards, well actually they're not in order, there's 125. But Tiffany, actually I don't know, I may have screwed up that order somehow. Yeah, I don't know, there's 9, 7, 3, 2. Okay, I got the end of the box somehow at the beginning. I think I pulled out cards from the last few. Okay, now it should be in order. So Scott Bankhead is number 2. Oh yeah, they look like Tiffany cards. A little bit. Tiffany cards are glossy, but they have the kind of similar white cardstock there. I want to put that checklist at the end where it belongs. Just take this. Oh man, where was number 1? Alright, no idea. Was that Gary Ward? No, it was Bill Ullman. Okay, Bill Ullman's number 1. Alright, here we go. Scott Bankhead. Eric Bell. So yeah, I think there's, there are several cards in this set that were absolute gangbusters back in '87, but, they were of prospects or young players that Juan Berenguer, author of the Berenguer Boogie from the '87 Twins World Series run. That would have been a cool card as a Twins fan to have back then, because most of his stuff, did not show him in a Twins jersey. Came over from the Giants, before that the Tigers. He was a popular player on that '87 Twins World Championship team. They had Bosley, Larry Boa. So these look like a bunch of traded players so far. So we haven't got to the rookies yet. I can't remember. I think Jerry Brown would be a rookie. Yeah, this would be a rookie too. Bob Brower. Anyways, I was saying there's lots of cards in these traded sets that back in the day would have been pretty sweet, because they were rookies and everybody wanted rookies like this. I'm pretty sure this card is why my friend who had this back in like '88 bought this set, because he was a big Red Sox fan, and Ellis Burks was pretty hot potatoes back then. His rookies did not come out until '88, but if you had your '87 Topps update or traded set, you were in business with your Ellis Burks XRC, extended rookie card, they would call that back then. Back when they discriminated against cards that were not pack produced or pack distributed. So a rookie card that came out of a traded set like this would be labeled an XRC. I don't think they really do that anymore, because, basically they don't have traded sets. I mean, they have Topps Update, but that's considered and that's a pack issued set. So Casey Kendall was another one that was a pretty, decent prospect, not like crazy, but, probably a 50-cent card back in 1987. John Candelosi, where did he come over from? White Sox, yeah. And that's kind of a fun one. This, I believe, is the last card. Well, let's see. No, he was in 88 sets. I think at least some of them. I think he had an 88 Fleer card, if I'm not mistaken. But Steve Carlton, kind of one of the all-time greats, Hall of Famer with 323 wins, and had some pretty amazing seasons. 24 wins in 1979. Is that no, 1980? With the Phillies, where he spent most of his career. Then kind of moved around a bit at the end, and the Indians, I don't think he played for them very long at all before he probably ended up retiring with them, but pretty cool. card of a definite, legit Hall of Famer, Juan Castillo. Rick Cerone, I think, came over from the Pirates, from the Yankees. Wow, did I mess that up? Looks like he's with the Brewers, but did have a stint with the Yankees in the early '80s there. Man, who am I thinking of? Thinking of Pena, who was with the Yankees, I think, before or after the Pirates. Ron Say, longtime Dodger and Cub, kind of the twilight of his career there with the A's. John Christensen. This would have been a sweet card. Dave Cone. Back then, Dave Cone actually had a pretty solid career. I mean, ended up with the Yankees and pitched with them during, I think most of, if not all of their, 90s domination run. So he had a good career. His cards aren't really worth anything. He's not a Hall of Famer, but if you're a Yankee fan or even if you're a Mets fan, you might think of him quite warmly. So that would have been a cool rookie for a pitcher anyways. By the way, let's talk about this for a minute. So, pitcher rookies are kind of an interesting topic because pitchers for the longest time have not gotten any kind of love from the hobby. Even the best pitchers, their cards are pretty worthless, except maybe they're rookies, maybe they're rookie autos. But they're a fraction of what, offensive players from that era, or from the, same kind of time frame, are worth. So, yeah, it's been that way for a long time, with a few exceptions. What's his name for the National? Strasburg came up in was it 2010 or something like that? And he was kind of the last big deal, but I think he sort of was the nail in the coffin because he was certainly good. He won a World Series MVP to kind of end his career. He did play after that, but was not really doing much. But I think a lot of people saw, if they invested in that guy, when he was a rookie or right before he came up, they saw the values of his cards go significantly down. And I have a refractor chrome auto rookie of that guy that I got in a repack. I'm sure it's worth $20 now. It's an auto. I think I said that, but that's kind of crazy. So pitchers, they don't get any respect, but now Paul Skeen is the I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's funny, I haven't even watched anything he's been in. I didn't watch any of the All-Star game where I think he started. I haven't watched any of his, pitching performances for the Pirates, but he's the hottest player in the game right now. Oh man, he only really has first Bowmans. He doesn't have any rookie cards yet because he just came up this year, but he will presumably next year, or I don't know if he would have anything in Topps Update. I kind of doubt it, but if he does, those are going to be, super hot when they come out if he's doing as well then as he is now. But yeah, that guy is super hot, and I'm kind of bummed. I don't really have any 23 Bowman draft. I never opened any, and I'm generally not opening much Bowman hobby products these days, given the cost and the low, return on those. So I don't really have any Paul Skeen cards at all, but if I did, I would be super happy, and I would be selling them absolutely right now because I think his raw base autos are a couple $100. His paper Bowman draft first Bowman cards that is a 20-cent card all day long. In a year from now, guaranteed. I don't care if Paul Skeen wins the Cy Young Rookie of the Year and the NL MVP. His cards will be worth his first Bowman paper rookie cards will be worth 20 cents in a dollar. I guarantee. $100 Hall of Famer in here because he went from the Expos to the Cubs in '87. So people don't seem to remember sometimes. What happens to pitchers? Doug Drabek would have been a pretty solid name. Another future Yankee that actually started with the Yankees and then on the Pirates. Dennis Eckersley, another Hall of Famer. So yeah, Paul Skeen, man, super hot right now. But I really don't have any of his stuff, and it's funny because, I opened a lot of stuff in, like, a lot of baseball cards, a lot of Bowman cards in 2017, 18, 19, 20 to a lesser extent, and a few things in 2021. So, like, anybody who has Bowman cards from those years, I would have, potentially some of their cards, like actually Reese Hines was another example. This Reese Hines is, like, super hot right now for the Reds. He's a rookie, and I thought, oh wow, I might actually have some cards from him because his cards were in like 2019 Bowman draft or something like that, and I think I opened some of that. Actually, do I feel like I have some of that because I think that's what there's a couple of actually really good rookies in there. Adley Rutschman is in there, and a couple of others. I think that Beatty guy from the Mets is in there, and maybe one or two others. But anyways, a lot of the rookies, who are getting hot right now, including Skeens. I don't really have any cards of because I just don't. I haven't been opening a lot of Bowman stuff, or at least not Bowman draft, from more recent years, and that is the case for other guys too, who only got stuff in like 22 and newer Bowman products. Mickey Hatcher, longtime Twin. Neil Heaton, some of these cards are scratched. Mike Henneman. So yeah, that makes me sad in some regards because I like, being able to go and find cards of guys who are suddenly hot, but it also makes me a little happy because I'm sure I would have spent a lot of money opening 23 Bowman draft that would have not been recouped, even with Paul Skeen. So, yeah, it's good to not have sunk all that money in like I did with a lot of products in 2018, 19, 20. Reggie Jackson, I think this would definitely be his final card. He did like a little bit of a stint with the A's there at the end before his retirement, but he did not have cards in 1988. He did have a card in the 87 set, 87 Topps set with, the Angels. And so this showed him with the A's, where he probably did like a little kind of like a retirement tour since he began with them. But Reggie, I think is most commonly sort of thought of as a Yankee great because he had such awesome seasons with them, and they did really well in the late 70s when he was with them, and he was a big part of that. And I think if you asked Reggie Jackson, he might sort of say, yeah, the Yankees were kind of the team I feel most associated with now by the public. So, yeah, I would guess he's depicted as a Yankee in like his Hall of Fame stuff, but I don't know that for sure. The other thing is, he always spent spring training with the Yankees, so that usually tells you where your kind of loyalties lie. But Chris James, Deion James. So there's a card we're looking for in here, which is a Hall of Fame rookie card. Gene Larkin, rookie on that 87 World Championship Twins team. Mike Lavalier came up with the cards. That would have been a half-decent rookie back in '87. Well, that one want to say he had 86 cards, like maybe 86 Donruss. Lombardozzi, another young player on the World Championship Twins. Barry Lyons, man, I don't know if I've ever seen this card before, because I remember. Shane Mack was a half-decent rookie, and there's your MVP of the set here, Greg Maddux, with the Cubs. So this is just, you know, a rookie card. He spent the first few years of his career with the Cubs. It was not like super great during that time. You see, in '86 he was 2-4 on the 5.52 ERA. So he kind of like changed some stuff about like I think his like approach or his pitches a few years in, and then went on to become absolutely unstoppable. By the time he, you know, was in his final year with the Cubs, and then went on to the Braves, where he would win some Cy Young awards and get to a number of World Series. But did they ever win one? I don't think they ever won one with him. Maybe they won a single one. So funny, I kind of forgot that Fred McGriff was in the set. I'm not sure you could call this a rookie because he had a card in the '86 Donruss set. But this would be the first Topps card. And if we call it a rookie, then there's 2 Hall of Fame rookies in here now, because of course he was voted in by the Veterans Committee. And so he is now in the Hall of Fame, and I think deservedly so. He was, I mean, here's a guy who, his career numbers, you know, were not necessarily shoo-ins for Hall of Fame, but he did have, you know, kind of like Dale Murphy in a lot of respects. He had some monster seasons, and you know, was definitely considered to be one of the top offensive players in the game for at least a couple of years. You know, which is sort of like Don Mattingly. I mean, Don Mattingly was absolutely, you know, one of the top 3 or 4 offensive players for a handful of seasons, but you know, just kind of fizzled very quickly once he hit his, you know, injury-prone part of his career. Oh, it's funny, I'm talking about Don Mattingly because, man, right now I got some lower back issues that have been just killing me for the last, like, 2.5 weeks, and God, they're just depressing me because I think, geez, I can barely walk some days. Like, how the hell am I used to play, I mean, I haven't played tennis in that whole time, and I play 3-4 times a week. So, yeah, it's depressing, but Donnie Baseball had back issues. We're kind of the end of his career. Mark McLemore, Kevin McReynolds, Dave Meads. So I'm not sure we're going to see anything too great. Kevin Mitchell would have been a pretty cool card. He started out with the Mets and you know, had some kind of abbreviated seasons with them, but then went on to the Giants and just absolutely lit things up, and I think this would have been a rookie card for him. I'm trying to think. Did he have anything in '86? Gosh, I don't think he did, so this would have been a pretty sweet card. I mean, this guy was putting up like 50 home run seasons or close to it for a few years in a row, and his stuff was pretty dang hot back in the, you know, kind of late '80s, especially with the Giants doing really well with, you know, Will Clark and Matt Williams, a bunch of other real good names from that era. There's Craig Nettles, former Yankee, probably one of his final cards as well, if not his final. Yeah, that's got to be his last card. Yeah, a little end of career, end of life stint with the Braves. I kind of like seeing those cards, you know, like these like super veterans, you know, with teams they were with for like 10 minutes. Matt Noakes was a big name rookie back in this time period, so that would have been a hot one. Tony Pena is maybe who I was thinking of, is he with the Pirates, but then eventually with the Yankees. Not until I think the late 80s or early 90s. Luis Polonia. There's Cal Ripken's dad, Cal Ripken Sr. Keith Rennick, Jerry Royster, So this would have probably been a pretty sweet card too, but he did have a, so this card is kind of a mystery to me, like why does Benito, wait a minute. You know what, I think he did not have a card in, okay, now I gotta look it up. I feel like I remember like talking about this in a prior video when I was doing some 87 Topps stuff. Like, I thought that the guy had a base card, or a card in the base, you know, the regular 87 Topps set, but I don't know, I'm confusing him with somebody else because I ended up looking up whether he did and he didn't. So I guess this was his first Topps card, his rookie Topps card, but I'm pretty sure he had something in, like, God, was he in 86 Fleer, maybe? I don't know, but he was a big name and actually had a pretty decent career. Seitzer was another pretty decent name that back in 87, 88, you know, would have definitely had some value. Terry Steinbach, rookie card. Sundberg, Danny Tartable. Danny Tartable had cards as early as 1985. He was in the 85 Donruss. Rated rookie, and curiously, he was also a rated rookie in 86 Donruss. But, yeah, didn't have a Topps card, I think, until this one. I don't think he was in the, actually, I feel like he was in the 87 Topps regular set as a Mariner, which is the team he came up with, and then ended up with the Royals, so that's why he's in here as a traded player, not as a prospect. But his first Topps card would have been 87 Topps, you know, regular series, but his rookie card would have been those 85 Donruss. I think he might have been an 85 Fleer too. It's kind of crazy to think that. There's my printer. He was in Donruss as early as 85, and then didn't get a Topps card until 87. I mean, that's just kind of like a crazy difference, but that's kind of how it was back before, you know, we had Bowman or any of these other kind of prospect sets. Oh wow, there's a Matt Williams in here too. Wow, so that would have been definitely valuable at some point. I think he's also in the Fleer set, but let's see. I think I'm gonna wrap this video because I don't think I would have time to go through the Fleer set, but if there's enough demand, I'm happy to go through that. And I think you'll generally see, you know, the same lineup of players. There are probably, I want to say there's like maybe one or two other rookies that showed up in here, but not in the 87 set. Like, I feel like maybe there's a Canseco card in here. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, you get Seitzer. You've got, well, Kevin McReynolds was not in 87. Topps. Get Reggie. Andre Dawson. So, yeah, a lot of the same guys. I think the same rookie lineup, too. But, anyways, that was fun to see that for the first time in many, 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 many years. I like these traded sets. They're quite cheap. I got this one for, take a look at the box, but got it for even cheaper than it was marked because it was like a 30% off everything kind of sale. So yeah, it was at $2. So I paid, what did I pay then? I paid 30% off. That would be 60 cents off. So I paid $1.40 for this sucker. So yeah, they're dirt cheap, and you get, you know, 2 Hall of Fame rookie or early prospect cards in here with the McGriff and the Maddox, and then a bunch of Hall of Famers beside that with the Dawson and the Reggie Jackson and the Carlton and Eckersley, maybe one or two others. So I don't know, if you get them for $1, whatever, $1.60, or $1.40, I'd say you can't go wrong. But yeah, so I don't know. I'll keep this around and maybe sell that off. One idea I've been kicking around for a while is to do like a garage sale, where I just sort of put a bunch of random crap that I've got. Like, for example, box of 85 Topps hockey in pretty dang nice condition. And it does have cards on the back, including the great one, Wayne Gretzky. There's some pretty heavy creasing there, so, you know, nothing you could make money off of cutting that up and submitting that. PSA will actually grade these, last I checked. So if you have a nice condition one without creases and you're handy with the scissors, or better yet, those kind of tabletop cutters, you could possibly, you know, turn one of these into a PSA 10, but not this one. But anyways, this is a pretty cool box. I actually got this for free when I bought my 85 Topps hockey box that's, you know, BBCE wrapped. The guy who sold it just had this around. He's like, I'll just throw it in with it. But I would guess, based on the value of this box, you know, the box with actual cards in it, which is quite high. It's like 3 to whatever, 4 or 5,000, depending on when you look in the last 6 months. So I bet based on that this box probably has a pretty decent value. It might be worth up to $50 to the right person. Especially it's in nice condition. So if you had a box of these cards, but the outer box itself was kind of beat up, well, then you just get one of these, and you know, this is dang near like new. So it'd be a real nice box to put 36 packs of these in if you had one. If you had 36 packs in a, you know, kind of a beat up box, or maybe no box, I don't know. So it's got, you know, anyway, so that's the sort of thing. I got a lot of stuff, you know, and I got a lot of these sets, and I got a lot of just kind of random stuff that could be fun to buy. And if you're, you know, paying the flat rate shipping for my site, which I think is $8, you know, you can just throw in a bunch of whatever and not have to worry about extra shipping. So that's what we got for today, folks. Hope